faster.
Welcome, everybody, to the Border War podcast. It is game day in Lawrence, Kansas. We are excited to be with you guys today. This is through the Kansas City Sports Network. We are sponsored by 360 Vodka. We are live at Wayne and Larry's in Lawrence, Kansas. Great to be with you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Big day today, Jeff.
Big day today.
Big day, 9 years. It's about time, and I'm excited to be in Allen Fieldhouse today. I know you are as well. We'll both be at the game.
For sure.
How excited are you? Let's go. Let's start there, because this morning I woke up. My fiance, who is a actual Kansas fan, surprised me with the Mizzou fight song though this morning.
Oh wow!
To get me going, I was like, man, this is kind of bringing back some memories.
Yeah.
And we had a long discussion of, are you going to wear Mizzou gear now in Fieldhouse? And I was like, well, I can't do that. I know that's a bad move, but I am excited about being back in Allen Fieldhouse. This is my first time back in Allen Fieldhouse since 2 years ago. Was not able to attend any games last year in Allen Fieldhouse. It's the best environment in college basketball by far.
It's pretty cool.
I'm looking forward to that as well.
Yeah. I'm excited as well, too. And, it's funny, my wife as well, too. She was talking about the event and just getting ready for all these antics. And not just her, just everybody in general, man. And all these videos are starting to surface. I just posted one on my Instagram. There's a couple hard fouls, a couple fights about to break out. That just goes to show you how deep that rivalry was. And we talked about it last week. I'm just excited it's back again because it brings the best out of the players, brings the best out of the fans, and everybody. It's one of the top rivalries, and for it to get back and be renewed, I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to be at this game. I couldn't think about anything else besides this game this morning, so I'm excited to be here in this environment here and then be able to translate that over to the Fieldhouse.
Absolutely. I got asked yesterday, between a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you about this game? And I said I'm at probably like a 9.
Yeah, for sure.
It was a big surprise to the person that asked me the question. I said, well, look, I'm not really thinking. I know there's a matchup to be had today. We'll dive into that here in a few minutes. But just the fact that it's been 9 years, and we're going to talk about your era of those Mizzou Kansas games, my era, 08 to 12, and obviously closing that chapter in 2012. That's been talked about a lot this week. Was 2012. And those were great games to be a part of, no question. So we dove into that a little bit last week. But I think there needs to be a little bit of a pause, too, to talk about the history of the rivalry, even dating back to before 2012.
For sure.
Some great games during your era. I mean, seeing the Anthony Peeler clips, John Sunvold clips. I mean, this goes back to Storm and Norman. There's some great stories from those years and those games. So it's not just about today, too.
For sure.
We're so thankful to have this game back. I do believe no matter what, this game should be played every year.
Every year.
If you want to go Lawrence, Columbia, if you want to have a game in Kansas City, you can do that.
Do all
too.
three.
You can do all three.
Switch them out.
So
it has to happen.
I think that needs to be said right out of the gate because fans are going to be wired today, both sides, and that's great. You know, that's what it's all about. Fans getting that taste back.
It's about the fans.
That's right. But there is, from a player's standpoint, we've talked about this a lot. I talked to Brady Morningstar this week and some former guys, Kareem Rush, Brandon Rush. You know, guys have been a part of this. I talked to Nick Collison over the summer about this rivalry. Anytime you talk to a fellow player that you lined up against in this rivalry, it's what you talk about. And there's a deep respect between the players, no matter what, no matter the records or what team went where that year.
Even if it was a fight that broke out, it's still a respect. We're trying to win.
That's
right. Geez.
It's a competitive sport. I think you appreciate the competition part of this for sure.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest things I liked about the rivalry is the player respect. And I think that's one of the coolest things about this rivalry is that we as players can get along, and that's what makes the rivalry, because at the end of the day, you guys are trying to beat us, we're trying to beat you, but there was always that mutual respect, and I think that's what allowed, you know, the rivalry to always take place. The fans do a great job of, you know, building up that fire, pouring gasoline onto the fire.
No question.
But this is a great atmosphere. I'm so excited for so many reasons. Like this KU Missouri game, like it means so much. Like I woke up happy. Like I was like messing with some of my rings. Like, oh man, I've never messed with these things in
some of my rings, multiple rings.
Stop it. But like that's like the type of vibe. Like I'm happy for this, like for this moment that this rivalry is getting back up in the back on the scene again. So I'm just blessed to even, I know you are as well too, to be able to put on a jersey and be a part of this rivalry, because it means so much, not only to the players, but the fans as well too.
Absolutely. We're going to dive into the game. We're going to dive into the matchup. We might have a special guest here on the pregame show. Before we get talking about this matchup, going back to when you played, there's always these specific memories that come to mind right out of the gate. When you woke up this morning and you're thinking back to playing in this rivalry, is there one moment that jumps out to you or one story that jumps out to you, home or away?
All right, I got to,
Is there anything that jumps out? And if you want to kick it to me to think about it, that's fine. Because I've thought about this a lot this week of like what comes to mind. And there's multiple stories and multiple memories that come to mind. But I just, that was kind of the most exciting part about waking up this morning. You just kind of put yourself back and like, man, I remember what it was like to wake up this morning.
I got one for you.
One? All right, let's hear it.
All right, so. And I got much love. I haven't talked to Jason Horton.
Yeah, all right.
So we had some battles.
Serious throwback. Okay.
We had some battles. And this was at the Fieldhouse. And I don't think not too many. I've told this story to some people, but not a lot of people. It hasn't been on air. So I was that type of guy. You know, coach was put me in. If there was a guy that was rough, you know, I would be the guy that I'll take the toughest guy. Like whoever it is, if he's throwing elbows, they know, put Hawk on him. You know, Jason was a very fierce competitor, very tough, had skills, and he was. I mean, we're kind of the same player. We kind of clashed.
He wanted the smoke. Too.
Yes, he wanted it. He wanted the smoke. Where's the smoke? He's running to it. So that's the same way with me. Wherever the smoke was going, I'm like, there's a smoke. I'm going in head first. Just I don't care what happens. So apparently there was some smoke.
Okay.
So we get in, and I think I got him with. It was an elbow or something. Like it was, we were, got tangled up. Then I hit him with something and he felt it.
Yep.
And then, a couple possessions later, it was like 3 or 4 possessions. And I'm gonna be honest, like when you woke up, what's the first thing you thought? Well, first thing I thought was, I'm like, I'm doing this, my jaw still pops to this day. So literally, listen, so he comes down, he throws it, I try to jump the ball and he comes in and I gave him a good shot. It was like, okay, ref's not looking, like, what?
I'm
like,
here.
It's a shot.
I'm here.
And he was like, whoa. And then he came down, he passed it. I kind of jumped the ball a little bit. He came right into me, dropped down, boom, shoulder right into. Ooh. And so, I'm like, literally still to this day, and don't get me wrong, I don't know if it's just because of Jason.
Right.
I've got popped in the jaw.
Yeah, it's part of it. Yeah.
But after that one, it felt a little different. I will tell you that. And I just remember after he did that, I'm like, it hurt. It hurt like heck. I just remember after he did it, I came up to him. It was a foul. I came right next to him. I was like, is that all you got?
I love it. That's great.
But literally, like, he didn't know. Like, I'm like, my jaw, like.
I'm not hurt. You didn't get me. I'm good.
But I knew he got me good. Like, so that's one of the stories that always, it's fun. It was a rivalry. It wasn't like bad blood. We got, it was just like, it was a part of the game. I knew he wanted to smoke. He knew I wanted to smoke. And kind of that's how guys are. They battle it out. And the next, it's like, hey, all right, good game, man. Hey, great game. Yeah. That's what it was like. So that story always kind of sticks out to me.
That's big time. I love it. Mine is a Fieldhouse memory as well. Mine's freshman year. And mind you, we're coming off the win at Mizzou Arena when we came back. And 08 and 12, both wins very similar to one another. Yeah. Sharon missed some free throws. Tyshawn missed some free throws. Same hoop.
And funny how all the free throws missed.
Really good free throw shooters, too. Like, really good free throw shooters left us kind of the door cracked open. And that's sort of how we, busted through and won those games. But going to the Allen Fieldhouse after that win, it was probably a month later, and hour and a half, bus gets in. Obviously, you see the fans waiting for you. That's part of you. There's some things said to you as you're walking into the locker room. It's great. I love it. I love it. But one of the things that really jumped out to me was, I was excited to get on the floor, go through pregame routine. And I walk out, and me and Kim English are the first two players, freshman year, to walk out of the tunnel. I'm like, man, two freshmen walking out of the tunnel like early. I mean, we're not even an hour before tip. Yeah. Both students sides of the basket, right? Student section is packed, as it always is. So we go on the floor. We start shooting on that side of it. Band's not playing, so you can hear what people are saying to you. And there's this girl yelling my name in the front row. And like, I went to Oak Park High School in Kansas City, Missouri, where Ochai Agbaji is from. So a lot of my friends went to KU. I went to Mizzou, and that's sort of when you grow up in Kansas City. We've talked about this. It's kind of split, right? Yep. But I keep hearing this person yell my name. I'm like, God, that person's voice sounds really familiar. I make the mistake of looking at the student section, and it was a girl I went to high school with, and she's the nicest person ever and whatever, and she's sitting there like waving at me, and I kind of look at her, I wave back. Bad mistake, because the rest of the pregame, so many things yelled at me, said to me. I could not get out of the student section's mind. It was a great way to set the tone for my first game in Allen Fieldhouse. And then afterward, I think it was the next day, that girl sent me a text. I was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
That's funny.
I didn't know that was going to happen. So it was like, man, that's my first memory of Allen Fieldhouse in 2008. And obviously it's like so many game moments, but like that was my first taste of being a player. And like there's just certain things. And I don't know why I looked at the student section. Never did it again. Never did it again.
You're a freshman, man.
That's right. You're a freshman. You don't know any better.
You're looking at everything like, locked eyes with him. Yeah. I've done that a couple of times too.
Even Kim looked at me and was like, bro, not a good move. Not a good move. Not a good move.
No, you're a target.
That's right. That's right. So let's talk about like a specific game win. Was there, I mean, I was going back through some of those wins at Hearn Center. Like I went back to 2002, 2003. Like you guys had some great teams in your run. Some games that were really important at different points in your season too. Not just Big 12, but seeding. You start talking about NCAA tournament with a lot of these games late in March, trying to go for a 1 seed. Obviously, your team with Collison and Heinrich and like those teams, competing for national championships. Any game that jumps out where you're like, this was a huge game that I think was maybe probably the biggest game or biggest win in your 4 years with the rivalry?
You know what? And I think all of them. 2 of them kind of stand out. Obviously, David Padgett hitting some free throws. There's 3 that, I mean, there was one that stood out too when we didn't win. Mm-hmm. I mean, when, Christian Moody ended up missing free throws late in the stretch. And
same hoop that Tyshawn and Sharon missed free throws on.
I mean, I don't know. It's something about that. I don't know.
Weird. It's weird.
I don't know what you guys are doing adjusting those rims or something, man. You guys had to figure it out, man. Late down the stretch.
The AC unit kicks on. And
that rim's just a little bit smaller, man. You're like, all right, bring out the new rim. But no, that game stood out as well, and we lost that game. But one of the ones that stands out to me is I believe it was Kirk and Nick's final year with Aaron Mouse. We were up in Aaron Mouse. I mean, he took that. He had that 3-pointer that he just
kind of threw up there.
We say passed it.
Okay,
that's what. Yeah, he passed it. He didn't shoot that. He threw a pass and it went straight in, and we're like, whoa. And then that was a big game changer. And then obviously the free throws that David Padgett hit, but just It's hard because we just, no matter what the season was, no matter how each team was playing throughout that season, we knew it was going to be both teams playing their A games.
Mm-hmm.
And it was always, no matter it was if at the Fieldhouse or at Hearns, it didn't matter where we played at. We knew we had a dogfight.
Yep.
So, but some of those games set, obviously we were able to come out. And there was one too that I just have a rule that if it's a minute, 30 seconds left in the game or a little bit under and you're down 9 points, you still have a chance to win the game.
That's right.
Because we were up 9 and I think it was a minute and 12 left. And Mizzou came back and beat us.
Man.
Yeah, so
it's just you leave the door open.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
So
you play till it says 0.
So what about you? What games kind of stick out to you that like just right off the top?
Yeah, I mean it's just tough to knock both games in 2012
because
those games awesome, are just iconic games.
Yeah,
the 2008 win was big for us just because where the program was at before that freshman year.
Yep.
Going into what would have been the 06-07 season.
Yeah.
We start out, 07-08. My freshman year was 08-09. 07-08, there was a lot of things going on within the program. Some guys suspended, kicked off the team. There was a lot of turmoil off the floor with that program that was going on at the time.
Yeah.
That was Coach A, Mike Anderson's, I believe, third year. And the fourth year, that's our freshman year. And a lot of expectations on Coach A. There wasn't that much expectation on our team. And then we go 31-7 that year, go to the Elite Eight. So just goes to show you how quick that program was able to turn around under Coach A, senior leadership. So the 08 win was big.
Yeah.
I do think the 2012 win was bigger at the time, all things considered, with us competing with KU for the Big 12. And obviously Kansas is on this tear of winning Big 12 championships. Which is no joke. It's Big 12 is a beast of a conference, even going back to when we were in the league.
It's always been
so what Kansas did to win all those Big 12 championships, that is a testament to the coaches, the players, because that's very difficult to do in the Big 12. I mean, to be that good and that dominant. And we thought we were going to knock off Kansas in 2012.
Yeah.
To leave the Big 12.
Yeah.
So there's just so much riding on that.
It was.
But that first game, we're 2 top 10 teams at that time. The game in Lawrence, we were both top 5.
Yeah.
So the top 10 matchups, college game day, kicking off the morning, the whole day, just like, man, you got a pit in your stomach. You're like,
I know,
there's nerves, there's butterflies. You're also so excited to play in a game like this.
Yeah.
Dick Vitale's on the call. There was like
everybody's watching
pyrotechnics before the game. There was like seriously, there was an issue with the pregame starting lineups where we had like fire, and at that time, like with the fire behind the goals, it was like a new thing. And they were like having like fireworks atop and we're like, dang, this must be a big game.
Yeah, for sure.
They're bringing out the fireworks, and this is the first time I've ever seen such a thing. And then all of a sudden, it was like there was this cloud of smoke that wouldn't leave the arena for like the first 5 minutes of the game, and it's like, this is crazy. Like this is like smoke, and like there's something not right. Anyway, it cleared up, but the win was critical. And then that like Marcus Denman in both those games. Yeah. Kansas City guy, very underrated coming out of high school, in my opinion.
I love this game.
And the game too, Connor Tehan, Brady Morningstar, Tyrell Reed.
Yep.
Like guys that we knew going into that. Travis Relaford, big name. Like the KC connection too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
The year before Mike Dixon Mike Dixon that senior year, he would leave the next year. But like his tie to Kansas City, Steve Moore played at Truman. I mean, like we all competed against each other in high school too. So that part of it was always a big part of that rivalry during my 4 years. But to win that game, the way Marcus closed that game, he was not going to let us lose.
Yeah.
And you've played with guys like this. I mean, Marcus was fearless, toughest dude I've ever played with. Just was stone cold. Like wanted that ball late. And was not afraid to take the shot.
No fear.
No fear.
You know what? It's funny because when Marcus was, I think, a senior in high school, I don't want to date back to the date on that to make me feel old. A couple more gray hairs might pop out. But I was at the time still playing, and I was playing with a group of guys on Sunday, and he was just kind of that. It was some older guys, and he was in there playing like, oh, look at this little young guy.
Yep.
And he just had all this energy, and I'm just like, okay, I'm guarding him a couple of times. I'm like, all right, this guy's pretty quick.
Yep.
But then come to find out, they said, hey, this guy's going to Missouri. This is such and such. I'm like, oh, wow, this kid got some. I mean, he got some stuff, and I could see that at the high school. And this is a time where I could still get up and down the court fairly fast.
Right. Yeah,
fairly
you're still
fast.
in your prime. Yeah, you're still, you're in there. You're in the conversation of your prime.
So just talking on Marcus Denman, that's a kid that had unbelievable talent, local kid. And it was just, I got to see that when he was a senior. And that was kind of the first time I really seen him on the scene. And he just had unbelievable talent. But he's always been a great ambassador and represents the school of Missouri so well.
Yep. And that, like, to think through the 2012 games too, Thomas Robinson and Marcus Denman were the two best players both games consistent. They were dominant. I mean, Thomas Robinson had double-double both games. I want to say it was like 28 and 12, 27 and 10, something like that. Marcus had 29 and 28. But I look back at his box scores, his efficiency in a game like that. He was 10 of 16 one of those games and 10 of 15 the next game, and he hit 6 threes in both games.
Come on, that's tough.
I mean, and you're talking about big-time games when the team you're going against is game planning for you.
Yes.
And
you can still carry it out.
It had that fear. Like, we feared Thomas Robinson. He was just a man-child around the rim. He's so strong and just dominated the paint that year. You know, it speaks for itself that season. I mean, he was in the running all year, being player of the year. Like, those games were great, but also the play in those games of two players that I think for Missouri, Marcus Denman is held in such great respect with Mizzou fans, one of the best players to ever play at Mizzou. I think Thomas Robinson's probably in the same conversation of what he did at Kansas. So,
especially with that block, I don't think they'll always love him for that. But you got to think about it, man. You guys still give you guys what 0.8 seconds. Not
no question. No question. I mean, people forget that Marcus hit a game winner. We walked the ball up, and we were running a delayed play, and it was like we delayed it way too long to close that game. And I know so much is made about Phil and Thomas at the rim and the foul, and that's fine. But you know this, we did not close the game that final 4 minutes. That's when we let go of that win. And there are basically 3 possessions that it comes down to for me where we were on offense and we went off script and we probably took a couple bad shots during the time when Kansas is making a run, which is a game of runs, especially with 2 great teams. You're going to get someone's best run. And the crowd was in it at that point too. And it was as loud as I've ever heard Allen Fieldhouse. It was as quiet as I ever heard Allen Fieldhouse in the first half.
You talked about that.
When we had a roll in. But man, like that run KU went on. But there's still those possessions that you think about when you lose a game. And when you're winning, it's great, right?
I know, it's like,
turn the page, you know. But when you lose,
it's
there's those. It's like, man, that one play. Why did we shoot that shot? You know, why did we not switch this defensively? But
all those thoughts come through.
One of the players though that needs to be talked about in 2012, Elijah Johnson. 8 assists, no turnovers in that game. Tyshawn was a big time scorer in that game, as was Thomas Robinson. But Elijah moving the ball, Connor Tien hit some big threes. Like, there's some unsung heroes too in both those wins. Mike Dixon was really good in Columbia. Steve Moore gave us great minutes off the bench. Defensively, is a big. Kim had to play the 4, which he's not a 4. He's a 3. Took Jeff Withey out of the game. Like, there's all these things that come back to like the strategy too that was being played.
And both teams were those powerhouse teams. And you look at that lineup you just named out, from anywhere from Thomas Robinson to Elijah. I mean, those are big time players. Taking the fact that you minus Marcus Denman and Thomas Robinson, those other guys, I mean,
some good players.
It's a bunch of boatload players that contributed throughout that game and that rivalry, man.
No question. We're going to take a quick break. It's great to get started here. Wayne and Larry's Lawrence, Kansas. Really excited to have the border war back. We will be back. Talk more about this matchup coming up this afternoon.
Tigers and the Kansas Jayhawks. Missouri Tigers and the Kansas Jayhawks.
And welcome back to Wayne and Larry's. It's the Border War podcast. We are excited about the game this afternoon. I want to tell you a little bit about Wayne and Larry's. If you show up today, right before pregame, where there is a watch party taking place, just so you know. But there are some cocktails, some bomb shots, that are on display presented by 360 Vodka. We got a cherry limeade. We got a blue baller.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm in for that. We got the Crimson Bomb Shot. Okay. So some great opportunities here and some offers here at Wayne and Larry's through 360 Vodka. So very excited to have them, to have us be here at this location too in Lawrence. Before we get to possibly guests, we'll just tease that a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the matchup this afternoon. Kansas playing good basketball right now, coming off the holiday tournament.
Yeah.
Good start to the year for them. We've talked about Ochai Agbaji. We've talked about Christian Brown. I think something that needs to be talked about, their last win against UTEP, a game where you look at the box score, Remy Martin doesn't score.
Yeah.
This is the Big 12 preseason player of the year.
Yeah.
I want to go back to just this Kansas team. We're in December. Kansas is going to look different in January. They're going to look different in February. You were a point guard yourself. We've talked about Remy being a newcomer, a guy that had a totally different role at his last stop. Do you see some evolution with him right now?
Yeah,
in terms of embracing what Bill Self's trying to get him to do?
I do. And, you watched a couple of the first games with Remy, you could tell, he was still kind of in that Arizona State mind where, he feels he kind of has to kind of do it himself. And you could tell there was a little bit of, back and forth with him and Coach Self trying to get him to buy into the system, Remy trying to figure out how to buy in the system. And you could tell these last couple of games because Remy would just kind of take some shots off balance outside of the offense. And you could see these last two games, Remy taking a big jump. Obviously not scoring any points. I think what Remy's trying to do right now is Remy is trying to show everyone that I can be a point guard. I can buy into a system. I cannot just think about myself and going out and trying to, whatever it is, increase my stock by scoring or whatever it might be. I think Remy's figured out now. He's starting to figure out I can increase my stock by leading a team and being a team player. Now I know, obviously, not scoring 0 points. He went from going to try to score a lot to now I'm just going to get everybody involved. I think now it's time for Remy to start, taking the shots that come to him. Don't pass any up that he feels that he can really help the team out, because I think Remy's going to figure out he can help the team out by scoring. Because he's a great scorer. He's a great player. So, but I think Remy's also trying to prove to everyone else that I can get the teams involved. Watch me. I'll do it without scoring a point. But at the end of the day, for KU to make the run that they want to make a run in the deep season, in the postseason, Remy's going to have to be aggressive on the offensive end.
And when you talk about stock too, when I think of Remy, he's an undersized point guard by position. He's more of a score first point guard, and he did prove that he could score the ball at Arizona State, no question. This Kansas team, it's one of those things where when you win, everybody succeeds, everybody prospers.
Yeah.
I think his role is perfect for improving his stock.
Yes.
Because no matter what, if he's scoring the ball, great, but he's going to have to show he can play, make passes, set up teammates, make good decisions.
Yes.
We've talked about this a lot over the course of our first podcast of IQ.
Yeah.
How much IQ is important.
It's everything, man.
And it's everything. And you can see it too when a player is in a role that he might have been in a team prior, the year prior.
Yeah.
And then when you're in a different role, comes different expectations, and your game's got to evolve.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you're freshman to sophomore year, junior year to senior year. You know this. You cannot stay in one place, and you can't be the same player. That, I think, is a good thing for Remy Martin moving forward.
And I think, kind of adding on to that, I think, Remy's in a good spot with Coach Self. Coach Self is really, really great of getting, it doesn't matter who it is, getting them to buy into their system, buy into what the team wants to do. And eventually Remy is catching on to that. He's buying in, from talking with Coach Self, he's talked about Remy's attitude. Remy's attitude has been great. Mm-hmm. And I think at the end of the day, as long as Remy continues to have a great attitude and start to get back in, he's going to have to get a little bit in Arizona State mode, where if we need a bucket, we're still looking for that guy who can just go out and get us a bucket. We know what CB and Ochai are going to do, but if they're having a bad night, who do we go to? So, and I think Remy is that next guy that can say, hey, Ochai and CB are down right now. I can put the team on my backs, because he's done it at Arizona State. He's put the whole team on his back and done a great job of that. So at some point in time, Remy, I think that he's going to have his opportunity to shine that way, but he just has to keep buying in and staying aggressive on the offensive end. But like you said, the IQ is everything, being a playmaker, getting teams involved, running the team, leading the team. Those are some little things that I think that he can continue to do to improve, and his stock will rise.
Yep. He came to Kansas to win games, have an opportunity to play in March, and go take a team far in the NCAA tournament. He wanted to win. So with that, you got Christian Brown, Ochai Agbaji. You got different pieces now that you're with that can really score the ball, that have been here, that know the system. And there's only one ball to go around. And it's funny how we talk about that in college. We talk about the NBA level. You want to have multiple scorers. You want to have guys that can go get you 17, 20 points. but the thing is, you also have to understand the talent around you. And it gets back to my favorite thing about playing the game of basketball is, doesn't matter how good you are, or you have to check the ego at the door if you're about what you really think you're about, right? If you came to Kansas to win and go compete for a championship, we'll see about that.
For sure.
It's easy to say that in March and April, May when you're transferring.
For sure.
It's all roses and sunshine, and then all of a sudden, boot camp's here. That first practices are there, and it's different. And that to me, you got to. And Coach Self, I think, is so good at that. He wants to break you down. No matter if you're a freshman, first year guy. He wants to break you down to see what you're about. For sure. To see if you're really about what you say you are.
You're right.
That's why Kansas has had so much success in winning games. That's why Coach Self's one of the best coaches in the country.
You're right. And Remy, and I'll end with this one, Remy. Remy, I think, Remy's learning how to trust his teammates. Not to say that he didn't trust his teammates at Arizona State. He had the ball in his hand. He could do whatever he wanted. So he's in a different position right now to where he has to trust his teammates. So like you said, you got Ochai, you got CB on the side, you have some guys that can really go. So being able to trust those guys and lead those guys, I think that's going to be really crucial or key for him.
Ochai Agbaji, Christian Brown. We've talked about Ochai before. He's playing at such a high level right now, playing consistent. He's been efficient, and the thing is that the 3-point percentage up around 50%. He's efficient from the field. He's getting to the free throw line, which was a huge conversation with Ochai Agbaji. He's so athletic. He's explosive. He can play with angles. Get yourself to the free throw line. He's having a great year scoring the ball, but it's his efficiency, shot selection we talked about with him. But Christian Brown's coming along too, and that is huge for Kansas, because Christian has to be, I think, as aggressive as Ochai, maybe not to the extent of having the green light all the times, but Christian's got to shoot the ball, be aggressive, attacking the rim, playing in transition, playing fast, because Christian is a very talented player that can really help this team, and we're seeing that over the last 2-3 games.
You said it right. When you talk about Christian, and this is a kid that he came in as a freshman, and he had the green light. So he has everything in his tool bag that he needs to be successful, as far as being aggressive, staying on the aggressive end. He has that, and then we know what we're going to get out of Bocce. You said it best. He is, he went. He took that year to kind of test with the NBA waters, took that feedback, and you could tell he took that seriously. He's changed his game. He's stepped up in so many different areas from where he was last year. And back to CB. CB can. I know Coach Self wants him probably to shoot more, stay aggressive. I think CB he's more effective player when he's on the aggressive side of things. When he's kind of just laid back, chilling, relaxing, taking. I mean, I know it's that famous saying, "Take what the defense gives to you." But when he just takes what the defense gives to you, he's kind of in laid back mode. CB's the type of player, I don't got to take what the defense is going to give me. I'm going to go get what I want. So I think if he can continue to stay in that mindset, stay in that aggressive mindset, you're going to see him go to another level. And right now where he's at, I think Jayhawk fans, coaches, they're pretty excited where he's at right now, but I think there's still another level where he can grow. Christian Brown, 63% from the field, 82% at the line. I mean, that to me says not only is he's finishing tough shots, he's playing through contact, playing with physicality,
he's a good athlete.
Yeah.
He's stronger than people give him credit for. He's a physically stronger, and he's got a motor. He's tough, mentally tough and physically tough. That goes a long way. I think the interesting about Ochai and Christian, both these guys, before they even got to Kansas, and even probably when they got to Kansas, they're so used to playing that secondary role, right? That rotational role. Now they're the guys. And to flip that mentality can be and it's a good problem to have. Again, you want guys that have that selflessness, that they embrace the role, and they don't have a problem not being the guy. Then all of a sudden it's getting them to believe that they are the guy. And you're seeing that now. And that took Ochai quite a bit because that's just not what he's been in high school. That's not what he was at Kansas, right? He wasn't a high-level recruit. Now, I mean, he's playing some of the best cards in the country right now. And that to me, that says a lot about these two and the development of them, but that takes time too.
It does.
To embrace a new role when you have to be that guy.
Yeah, and you think about Ochai's story. You know, he came in redshirting. They pulled his red shirt card. He had an unbelievable season, and his draft stock was, I mean, he could have went. That's probably a good shot for him to go right now. But obviously, he had that second year, kind of had a down year. They put the expectations on him. You're not a rotational player. We want you to be the man. He struggled a little bit, but you can see now the development. He continued to grow. Coach Selfs-Big was saying, water off your back. Ochai took that, water off your back. I'm not worried about anything that happened in the past. I'm worried about what I can do in the future. And he showed that in his play, his work ethic, because all what we're seeing right now in Ochai, it didn't come from the start of the season. All that work came in the offseason, and that's just a testament to how Ochai was serious about it.
He's been the same guy every day. He has that mentality, and he was that way as a sophomore, as a freshman. I always tell people, for Bill Self to pull his red shirt, there's got to be trust. You know, you don't just pull a kid's red shirt. There's got to be trust. And I think it's also most players would say, no, I've already red shirt. For Ochai to be like, let's do it. Throw me in there, says a lot. You know, I mean, and Ochai that year, I remember him when he would get into games, you could tell he didn't worry about offense. He worried about defense.
Defense.
I got to be in the right spot. On the ball, off the ball. He was blocking shots, taking charges. He was doing all those things. And it's no secret. And I wish high school kids know this.
That'll get you on the court. That's what gets you on the court, man.
Especially when you're a young player. Like, you want to get on the floor, do some little things. Like, Coach Self's an old school coach in a lot of ways. He's also kind of got that modern day to him too. It's a mix that he's got. But if you want to earn that trust, it's got to be an everyday thing in practice, and we're seeing that. So excited to see those guys today. Let's flip the script. Talk about Missouri real quick. Missouri coming off a win against Eastern Illinois. It was good for them to build some confidence. They got blew out by Liberty on the road. Players to talk about in this game. We'll talk about the game plans for both teams, but Kobe Brown, best player on Missouri's team, averaging 15, almost 15 and 10, does it all, shooting 54% from the field. He's a guy that has to be aggressive, ultra aggressive. I've said that before. Very good, tough, versatile defender. I think he can play some 4 and 5. That's going to be a big, I think, piece to this game is David McCormick establishing him. How does Kobe Brown in a smaller lineup, and that's something Missouri's had to embrace, is playing small. They don't have great size at the 4 and 5. That's okay. You have to change how you're going to do things. That's the test right now for Konzo Martin, and it's a test for Kobe Brown, who, like we just talked about with Ochai and Christian, Kobe's in a totally different role this year too. Kobe last year, coming off the bench, he'd start some games, very much a 4th, 5th option. Now he's got to be the first option, and he's got to believe in himself every game. If he misses a couple shots, play through it. You got to play through it, because they just don't have and he's a returner too. So he knows what's demanded of Konzo Martin. That's a big piece to this game. I think a guy that we haven't talked about that is a game time decision, Jaron Coleman.
I'm glad you mentioned him.
Yeah, he's a transfer.
You know what? And not to cut you off, but I think Jalen could be a guy to really help, especially with this rivalry. We know how happy we are about this rivalry starting. I think he can be a really good guy to kick off this rivalry in the right way, because of his assists. He's averaging right now 3 assists. He's their assist guy. And if he can really get into that paint, force help, kick out to guys, obviously if they play small, that's going to be hitting that 3 ball is going to be key. And I think Jaron could definitely be a good guy to get into that lane, force help, and be able to find open guys to get great shots, because he's done a great job this year as far as distributing the ball. I think he's a guy that can really help out.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because we talked this week about having a true pass-first point guard. DeJuan is that for Kansas. Missouri doesn't really have that pass-first. Jaron's done a great job because he's not a point guard, but he is unselfish. He's a very good passer. He's smart. He is a playmaker. He probably doesn't have an explosive first step to get by guys. But if Missouri can play with tempo, that's when Missouri's at their best.
Yes.
When they play in transition. When they get into a half-court game, that's when they can struggle. But they did not shoot the three ball well in their last win. They shot 10% from three. They've had games where they have been atrocious from three. For them to have any chance to be in anywhere near this game with Kansas today, they got to make perimeter shots. It's a part of this. It's the great equalizer. You have to make 3-point shots. Missouri has not done a lot of that. But Kobe Brown can make shots. Amari Davis would be one. Ronnie DeGray. But those guys, they're right around 28%, 25% from three. Missouri doesn't really have a knockdown shooter. They don't have anybody over 30% from three. That, to me, is the biggest piece of this game. And Kansas does a great job defending the 3-point line. So it's a huge part in this game. I think a big piece to this for Missouri, Dejuan Gordon has played in this game. He was at K-State, the transfer. He has played it out in Fieldhouse. Obviously not the crowd that we're going to see today. But he's a tough, gritty, versatile guard. I want to see how he defends in this game because he's got to be really good defensively. I could see him guarding Ochai. I could see him switching off guarding Christian. He can guard multiple positions. He knows this Kansas team. He's played against them before. I think he's got to have a big game defensively. Missouri's got to try to force Kansas into turnovers.
That's where it's going to start at on the defensive end.
Absolutely.
I feel like for both teams. And I mean, literally, even for Missouri, you think about it, it's going to start on the defensive end. And even on the offensive end, again, with Ronnie DeGray, Dejuan Gordon, and also Amari Davis. Those are guys, if you look at even their free throw percentage, they're all shooting above 80%. To me, that just says, hey, be aggressive. Get to the line. Get some easy baskets, because when you get those easy baskets, you never know what can happen in a game. You get a couple free throws. Now that 3-point shot seems like the rim's just a little bit bigger. Other guys start feeding off of that contest. But I think it's going to start, if Missouri wants to have a good chance, it's going to start on the defensive end. We're not even worried about hitting shots. Start on the defensive end. Offensively, they're going to have to attack. And those guys, they're not a bad free throw shooting team. Once you talk about Kobe Brown, Amari Davis, and Ronnie Davis, and not Ronnie Davis, but Ronnie DeGray and Dejuan Gordon. They all can shoot the ball pretty good from the free throw line. So if they can stay aggressive, get easy baskets, make that basket seem a little bit bigger. If they have to stretch out with their 3-point percentages, you say all under 30. That's how you can maximize that. You can maybe shoot a little bit over 30 that game. So again, I'm just a fan of this rivalry, man. And it seems like I don't care if KU fans are like, dude, does he want Missouri to win? No, I don't. I'm sorry, Jerry. You want Missouri to win. I know. So, but still, I mean, that just goes to show you how much we care about the rivalry. Like it means something. Like I want that rivalry to get back to where it was, and I know in time it will get there.
Let's be honest. We always hear about Auburn and Alabama in football, right? Such a great rivalry. We always hear about Duke, North Carolina, almost too much, right? Here we go on cue. Let's go.
What's up, boy? What's up, man?
The rivalry's back.
What's up, man? What's up, man? Hop on in. You want to hop on in here, man? We got a chair for you. Oh, there we go. Here you go, man.
We were waiting for our guest. We had a
special guest right here, man.
Special guest. We don't need a break either. Let's just go right to it. Let's go. Keith, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
Welcome.
What's up, man? You know I was coming. Yeah, you see, man. Okay, strong. Had to pick all them gray hairs off before I got here.
That's right. Welcome back home.
Man, I'm glad. Always. I was just talking to somebody. I was saying every time I hit the turnpike and then I hit that exit and I'm on Iowa, I get the nostalgia. It hits me crazy every time, man. It never fails.
So you got to hit Iowa and come straight here, though, baby. Right here.
I did. I went to Saw Wayne first.
Okay. All right.
And then,
okay.
Got to get that in first. Got to get that in first.
Actually, Wayne gave me a parking.
Parking pass.
Yeah, I did parking. Parking, Hawk know a lot about that parking.
We got a lot of tickets on in the park. Boy, KU parking though, that's another story.
Oh yeah. I've gotten actually multiple parking tickets going to Kansas. I have no idea.
You never paid them? Did you ever pay them?
I did pay them actually.
Man,
I was like, you know what? I'm like,
you're a good dude.
I was like, I don't know how it goes here. I'm paying them. I don't want that. I don't want that looking over me, man. I don't want that bad juju.
That's right.
You excited about the game today?
I am. Actually, I needed to come because last time I came to the KU game, they lost.
Okay.
And it was my first time being in the Fieldhouse in more than 10 years. And so this time, I'm going to bring some good energy. So yeah, but I'm excited. First KU Mizzou game. I mean, I in more than a decade.
Yeah.
Man, I couldn't ask for a better way to see a game after so much time. And also, I've been injured, so my morale's been down. So this for me is perfect. I'm extremely excited to be here.
Good. I saw the video clips of you at Hearns back in your day in the red unis.
Oh man,
with your on Ricky Balding. We were talking about those Reds,
awesome,
man. The red unis were sweet.
Yeah, I don't, Coach. Do they have red unis now? They don't bring them out that much.
I haven't seen them
right?
in a while.
No, hey, I was telling him, man, them red unis. It was some superstition with that, man. It all stemmed from that Villanova game.
That's right. Exactly, man. Exactly.
He hated the Reds after that.
Yeah, I'm still looking for Kyle Lowry after he punched Mike. So I mean, I haven't came across him. I'm not in those circles, but Kyle, if I see you, man, you punched my man. You punched him. He did.
Hey, so you've been in a lot of the rivalry games, man.
Yes.
Talk about some of your best moments, putting on the uniform against Missouri, whether home or away. Like, what game stuck out to you?
So, I did the video on Twitter the other day where I was talking about the last game in the Hearns.
Yeah,
for me, that's the top, the epitome of the experience. So, I mean, I talked about that already. So, what I mentioned is the first thing that came to mind is I remember being a freshman. And going to Columbia for the first time and getting all the warnings about, hey, be careful because, they're going to be outside the bus. They're going to be pulling the fire alarm. They're going to call your phone.
Yeah.
And I just remember, I was like, okay, it can't be that bad. But I remember Nick and I remember Kirk and I remember, man, some of the signs that these guys had. And it was brutal, man.
Yeah.
I don't even want to repeat some of the stuff that I saw and that we were hearing, but I just remember how nasty the Missouri fans were. And that from my freshman year, I was like, wow. And so saying all that to get to the point is, our freshman year, we go 16-0, and the first, I think, Power 5 basketball school to go 16-0 in conference play, undefeated in conference play. And so to do that and an exclamation point, to do it in the Hearns Center when all of that crap was going on, man.
Yeah.
Very, very special moment for me.
Yeah.
I was in Hearns Center for that 16th win, by the way.
Oh, man. Wasn't it sweet?
That was my first Mizzou-Kansas game.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, like to your point, you're a freshman, right? So you're getting used to like the era of like the actual rivalry.
That's right.
For me, I was in 6th or 7th grade. And like I'd never been in like an environment like that in a sporting event. I was like, what is this?
Crazy.
And that game lived up to everything. It was great. I went back and watched a little bit of it. I think it finished like 95, 93 or something like that.
It was something crazy, man. I don't think people understand even how good Missouri was. Like people like Clarence Gilbert and guys like that. I mean, these guys were
the Kareem Rush, Paul.
I mean everybody. I was trying to think more of the unsung guys, but I mean, these guys, man, they were extremely talented, man. I mean, but going back to the Mizzou fans, man, I mean, they were spitting on us, man, throwing stuff. I mean, it was unreal. Now, I mean, I know, the program's going down a lot since then. There's nobody there to spit on anybody. So.
That's right. There's the shot. I was waiting for that one. Get a little chub in. That's right.
Yeah.
I was just, before you arrived, we were talking about, like, best memory, like your first memory. And for me, it was freshman year, walking onto the floor at Allen Fieldhouse with the students behind both goals. Damn. It was my first experience, and I had a friend from high school that was in that front row, like yelling my name, and I kind of gave her a look and waved at her. Bad decision. I was like, man, you can't be doing that. You can't be looking at the students. Yeah. Wow. But I mean, playing in Allen Fieldhouse too, like the best environment in college basketball. Was it different when Missouri came to town? Was it the same? I mean, Allen Fieldhouse is Allen Fieldhouse, but it just felt too. Especially, I was on the 2012 game. The Kansas comes back, loudest I've ever in any sort of capacity. It was the loudest it's ever been for me.
I mean, for as far as home games go, I mean, and we played in some big ones, man. I mean, I'm thinking about when Michigan State came to the Fieldhouse was a huge game. I mean, but it was never. I can't remember exactly if it was my sophomore or my junior year, but that we beat Missouri at home. It was maybe my freshman year. We beat Missouri by 30 at home. And man, I mean, like I have just never the intensity of the people involved, man. Like, and it's not even so much like the people lifted the players. You know what I mean? Because I mean, from a standpoint of the actual competition of the game, it wasn't the highest level game that we had during that time, but the intensity of the fans, the people close to the team, and everything, they elevated the level of this game. And I think you'll see the same thing today. Missouri, solid team, not great, but I think that everything around this game and the people are like, it'll elevate the level for sure, just like any rivalry game.
Me and Jeff talked before about how, like, with the Missouri-Kansas game, like the fans, there's a deep hate for each other. There's a lot of history. Right. But players, I mean, you talk about players from your era or my era, 08-12, like there was a deep respect because our games in 2012 and 28, or in 2008, like there was some great games, but it was so competitive and you wanted to play in those type of environments.
Right.
And you basically, the game plan strategy, studying the players, and you're like, man, these guys are really good. There's a deep respect, I think, both sides of the ball.
Definitely. There's a lot of respect too, but I think the good stories are the stories where, like, every now and then there was a player or two that really didn't like each other. You know what I'm saying? Now, Hawk, maybe you remember this, and I'm going to tell, like, listen, Kirk Hinrich is probably the most private person in the history of this program. Easily, right?
I was his roommate.
I
was his roommate. His door would be shut all the time. I love vacuuming. So he always shut his door. So I come in and be like, yeah, shut. I knock on it. No, literally, I knock on it. He'd hear me vacuuming. He open it up. And I just vacuum his whole room. I'll just be like, get done. And I'll just shut the door. He'd be like, hey, thanks, man. I'm like, all right, cool. Kirk said thanks to me. All right, I'm good.
I would be like, Hawk, is he in there? What is he doing? Like, man, yeah, he in there. I don't know what he's doing, though. But listen, I mean, you probably need, like, Navy SEALs to find Kirk Hinrich right now.
For real.
But but in saying that, I want to give everybody a little Kirk Hinrich story.
Yeah.
So, and this is sophomore year. Freshman year, actually. And Kirk is going to have to guard Kareem Rush. Kirk's the best defender. So at one point, Drew is in the locker room, and Drew is like, just being Drew, bouncing around, talking, doing different things. And he's like, looking at Kirk, he's like, hey, man, Kareem said he coming at you. Like, that's all. I just heard that's the word. Kareem's coming at you. And then Kirk, like, without even, like, Kirk's just kind of sitting there. He was like, so that motherfucker, come on then. Like unbothered, man. Like seriously unbothered. Didn't even register. And I was like, yo, man, this is the toughest, coolest dude. He's one of my favorite teammates as far as just like playing with somebody and all these things. Like, man, I love telling Kirk Hinrich stories. I don't have a bunch of them, but the ones that I do tell, I I respect them a lot. Man.
When you guys were freshmen, did you have upperclassmen kind of tell you about the matchup, or was it just another game where, or especially going to Columbia, right? I mean, right. You mentioned you were kind of told stories. Was that something that you took seriously, or was it like, you just kind of learned through experience?
It really was experience. I mean, the guys definitely told us, and they definitely gave us the heads up. But man, it's one of those things where it couldn't prepare you. Couldn't prepare you for it, man. It was seriously nasty, man. Like, where are you nasty Missouri fans now?
I don't think you're gonna find them here today. Man. I don't think they're gonna be around today.
Probably
not today.
Not. That wouldn't be a good idea for them. But I mean, but seriously, I mean, honestly, everybody spoke about it because before coming to Kansas, I didn't even understand. I didn't even know that Missouri was the rivalry. I was under the impression that K-State was the rivalry, but I also figured out soon that that's more like they're just in the same state.
That's right.
More than anything. So.
That's right.
I'm throwing shots.
Coming in hot today, man. Let's go.
Hey, when you Keith, man, you can do that,
That's
man.
Right.
Who gonna check you? Who gonna check you on the court?
Nobody.
So give us an update. I know you leave Kansas, you go play professionally. How's everything going for you? You mentioned coming back from possible injury.
Right. I have man, the last 16. Well, first of all, I want to say, man, that and I confess this to my guys. I told Hawk this and all my freshman guys that I came in with. We finished school together. I just graduated.
Oh, congratulations!
I literally just graduated after 16 years. So man, that is.
Heck yeah.
Thank you, man. Thank you very
Congrats.
much. I'm gonna tip mine.
Yeah.
I mean, so that accomplishment after all this time of playing and traveling, man, really, really holds close to home, close to my heart. But as far as career goes, man, the last 16 years, I could not have imagined that the opportunities that were out there for me and what I've been able to experience and travel the world and play and do the things that I've done. It has been unbelievable. Now, I can't put it into words. So, but I am I'm writing a book now, finishing up a book about you know, my life and the travel, and also is a book for anybody that also is basketball players or athletes or whatever that need options outside of what their first option is, because the first option is not always there,
Right.
regardless of whatever you're doing. It's more so just about that focus and that energy and the way to approach, you know, making the most of that plan B.
Yep. I was just talking to a guy the other day that played at Indiana and went on to play professionally, and we were talking about just how when you leave college, you go play. Doesn't matter where you go, whether it's NBA or overseas.
Right.
There is nothing like your bond of your college teammates.
Yeah.
You know, and it's so true. Like you're on group chats with them. You see, you know.
Right.
Is that how it is for you? Or is it like the guys you came in with more group chat, or is it?
It's more. I mean, guys, my class.
Yeah,
for
the class.
sure.
Okay,
Like
it's more than anything. Yeah, that's.
But I mean, you stay in touch with the guys that are older you for sure.
Yeah,
but
for
I mean,
sure.
the group chat, like this morning, I was talking with Lawrence Bowers, Marcus Denman, talked to Kim this week, and like so those guys, Phil, who was younger than us, but Phil's kind of like he hung around with us all the time. So yeah, I mean, there's just, especially everywhere they go, you stay in touch with them no matter where they are in the world. I think that's always kind of a special thing that people don't really realize is like you compete together, and there's so many great moments as players. But I mean, some of the best, you know, memories now are after we've been done playing, like weddings and you know, teammates having kids and stuff. It's a different type of friendship. That
mean, and a lot of people don't realize that like we did more than just play basketball together. You know what I mean? Like Jeff came to Fort Worth with me before. You know what I mean? Like this guy's literally come home to my hometown and you know, pick up at my high school and things like that. And I remember first getting to Kansas and like going with Jeff, and I remember reading that Jeff played in Wyandotte County, right?
Yeah,
so
there you go.
Like,
okay, look at
Wyandotte, Hey man, I'll tell you.
The pride of Wyandotte, baby.
And so I would always ask him,
legend.
like, and so when I would go with Jeff, I'm like, hey man, you going to Wyandotte? Hey, we going to Wyandotte? He'd be like, hey man, I'm Kansas City, man. It's not called Wyandotte. I mean, like,
That's funny.
Yeah. So like these types of things, those little things, man. Like I think the outside world thinks that. Like it's more than that, you know what I mean? It's really a true bond, man. So just the same way you said,
for life.
It is absolutely.
Yeah,
that's right.
Cool.
You were just saying, man, driving into Lawrence, like, you know, that like it's like a Superman cape comes over. You're like, man,
every time it never fails, man. And I get like, it's after all of this time, like I literally was just thinking that okay, it's 2021, about to be 2022. I got on campus almost 20 years ago. You know, 20 years ago, like if you think about summer of 2001, this past summer, like we got to campus. We were the first class that was able to, the NCAA just started letting people come in for the summer before fall started. And so like 20, I was like, man, where does the time go? You know what I mean? So I just, and for me to still have that feeling, and, you know, I brought my son with me.
Oh, great.
And finally, so he's going to experience the game today.
Yes, sir.
So kind of driving in, explaining to him and talking to him about what's going on. Like, it's just, this whole thing is full circle, and I'm so excited.
That's wild. Yeah. We have our 10-year, because I left in 2012.
Okay,
so we got 10-year coming up. I mean, like, we've been talking so much about 2012 this week, just former guys, and then people that are asking about the games, you know, in Lawrence and in Columbia in 2012.
Right.
And I keep thinking, like, in school, I'm watching you guys play in the rivalry, and like,
stop making us feel old, Jarrett. Why you making us feel old like that, man? Come on, man. You don't got no grade. You said Jarrett just made a couple more pop out.
The salt and pepper looks good, man.
It does. It looks good on Hawk, man.
You should rock that.
Hawk gave me confidence that I'm gonna let it go whenever it comes too, man. That's really good.
After a while, bro, I try to clip him out, and it's just like, man.
Oh, you just
every now and then might be one big, but I'd be like, nah, you gotta go, bro. Like, you just messing the whole vibe.
You're in a random place. I don't need you in this place right now.
Right. Nope. Awesome. I also want to say too, man, that 2012 team was actually very, very talented, and those guys, Damon, Michael Dixon was on that team too.
Mike was on that team. Yep.
Mike, I mean, very, very talented guys, and they have had great runs in Europe.
Did you get to compete against some of those guys too?
Mike definitely played against Mike and Marcus. Marcus is actually, he's killing it in China right now too, man. He's doing some great things over there. So shout out to those guys, man. And when I came across them, it was mutual respect, and we definitely both exchanged pleasantries. And actually, I came across Mike in Greece. He has some ties there.
So there's a lot of guys still playing too. Both schools, Carter Ratliff, who was our big, is playing in Korea and had a heck of a career.
Okay.
You're Ricky Paulding.
Ricky is still going.
He's still going, man. It's crazy too. He's got like billboards of him in Germany and stuff.
And he looks great too.
Does.
I seen some clips of him the other day, because they were talking about some of the oldest players still left, and I want him to keep playing, so I'm not the oldest. He's only a year older than me, so yeah, keep going, Rick, please.
Hey, but shout out to you guys, because I think you and Ricky were probably two of the most explosive, most athletic guys to play. Like, especially you guys on the floor at the same time. That was fun.
Very, very great matchups, and also that's gonna be a testament to guys and show you that even as you age, even if you're an explosive player, you have to work on your game.
Yep.
Because as your athleticism declines, you have to find other aspects, your jump shooting, your skill set, your post work, all of these different things. There's ways to play outside of that. So definitely shout out to Rick for adjusting his game over the last 20 years, and because that's not an easy thing to do.
Shout out to you too, brother.
Absolutely.
I ain't want to shout myself out, but
I got you, man. I got you.
Does it not? This is a good question. You're a coach. You've been around the game for so many years, but I come across these high school hype videos now, and it's like these guys dunking balls, and they're more athletic, obviously. And I just sometimes want to tell them the only clip is of you dunking,
right?
And you're going to a place where you're going to play college basketball. At some point, it's going to have to register. Yeah, you're a great athlete in high school, but you're going to have something else.
You ain't going to get a dunk like that every time.
There's no way, right? Baller's Life and Hoops, all those websites, they're really good because, they get you excited. And I've even sent some of those videos to friends and man, this is crazy, this and that. But the thing about it is that you have to play a full game. Mm-hmm. And so I tell people a lot of times, you look at these guys in these clips, Google them, and then you'll see the guy that was in this video dunking, he probably averages, you look at his numbers, you look at where he is, you look at some of these things. And I can throw some names out there, and I don't want to be disrespectful, but there are several guys that were very prominent on these tapes that their careers weren't able to take the trajectory that they should have. And so, you have to be careful with that. It's look at it as entertainment, kind of like music, let it be entertainment, but don't let it be the substance of what you're doing.
And you're a pro in the modern day game when the game evolves to so much making shots, shot making, 3-point shooting, ball skills. Skill is so important now. At some point, your skill is gonna what gets you to the next level or keeps you in a position. You got to be elite in something.
Absolutely. I saw Aaron. Obviously, Aaron was he's with the Boston Celtics now. Aaron Miles I'm talking about, but he spent a few years under Steve Kerr. Obviously, and I was talking to Aaron recently. They were in San Antonio and went down there to check out the game. And he was talking about how Steve Kerr was saying that the game is at its highest skill level that it's ever been. Players are more talented, more players can do more things, shoot, dribble him. But the actual game, the basketball is bad because guys don't box out, guys don't get back in transition, guys don't run, guys don't deny, guys don't help. All of these things that made basketball and competing really, really intense. There's a lack of it. So I'm saying that to piggyback off of your comment, man. That's something that's really missing in the game. And typically the teams that do that are the teams that win.
Yep. I was watching your guys' Mizzou game, the 95, 93 win or whatever. I'm thinking there's some college basketball games you watch and it's games in the 40s and the shooting percentages are around 20%. And that game, you're watching guys just torch nets and athleticism.
it's crazy.
And the thought too, in your day, kind of the old school day, you had to defend, you had to do the little things to get on the floor. We were talking about that earlier. That still is part of it as well today. You have to be able to do other things.
Did you tell them about some of them coach self practices?
I'm all ears though. I'm all ears for those. I've seen some coach self practices, man.
Which one?
Football helmet, shoulder pads.
He didn't hear about that one.
Oh, I didn't hear about this one.
Listen, man, literally. Listen, there's a practice gym. We're in Horish. There's a bubble on each rim. No baskets can go in. We're playing 5-on-5. Everybody on the wall on the side is lined up is helmets and shoulder pads with everybody's name, for who's it is.
Dang.
It's all right, come on, let's go play.
Because we're soft.
Yeah, because we're soft.
That's right.
Because we're soft. I said, man, listen, I dare anybody in the social media era now to try to put a bubble on the rim and practice with shoulder pads and helmets. Sorry if that's illegal in NCAA.
Right, exactly. We're not promoting that.
I don't know if it's not, but I'm just saying this era, that was the type of stuff that was going on, man.
And did you guys? The question is, did you guys get tougher after that? After did you guys? Oh yeah, that was a good drill. Or you're like, nah, let's retire that one. We don't need to see that one again.
I don't know. All I remember is shoulder pads and helmets.
I didn't play football in high school. I remember Mike Lee came up and just rocked me one, and my helmet just like moved over, and it was over here, and I was like, man, I'm glad I don't play football. I don't like this.
Yeah, man. I think like Nick Baugh and Jeff Graves, they all enjoyed it. Man. But, I mean, I think everybody else really was just more so pissed than anything. So
that's great. Well, it's good to have you, man. I'm glad you came through.
Man,
and,
yes, sir. Always,
I'm sorry,
my
I couldn't
man.
make it earlier, man.
No,
Thank
you came just in
me,
time,
bro.
baby. No, you came
me,
just
man.
in time.
This is
Okay,
perfect.
Man.
Anytime
Sorry,
we
man.
can get
Great to
Keith
meet
on
you,
here.
man.
Yes.
Yep. All right. Well, so I think we're at time, and there is a actual watch party taking place here today. 2:15, 2:30 tip, I believe, is what it is.
Come on down.
And it should be a fun one. Should be a fun matchup here. Wayne and Larry's Border War. It's back.
It's back, baby.
9 years, about time. We're looking forward to the game. So thanks for joining us on the pregame show. Thank you, Jeff.
Hey, always, my man.
Always, and appreciate you swinging by as well, man. This is big time. Thank you so much.
Appreciate that, my dude.
All right, thanks, guys. We'll talk to you next week. Looking forward to recapping this game.